thank you so much for joining us and to give us a perspective from TVA standpoint, what you see is what's going on now and what the future is going to look like. Looking forward to hearing you.
Thank you, Sheila, and good afternoon, everyone. I was thinking, Sheila, 20 years ago, I reported to an assistant secretary for domestic policy at the Department of Energy, someone who was a leader in the energy industry, leader in public policy circles, an influencer, a mentor, and just a genuinely nice person who all of you know well, and her name is Vicki Bailey.
Amen.
And Vicki, I'm pleased to be on virtually and appreciate your leadership of this fine organization as the chair, and I'm proud to call you my friend. And by the way, everyone, when it came to Vicki Bailey, I also learned while working with her to never schedule an event that would make her miss a Purdue University basketball or football game. So I want to also say personally, Sheila, to you and the staff of USEA, I know it's been a challenging year with the pandemic, but also to say from the employees of the Tennessee Valley Authority that we're sorry for the loss of Barry Worthington. He was a strong voice for this industry, and I'm sure the past 8 months have been challenging for all of you, and you've been in our thoughts and our prayers.
Thank you so much.
You got it. And Sheila, it's thank you for your steady hand at the wheel. We appreciate your leadership. And with that, Dominic, my friend, let's go ahead and let's please move on to the next slide. Well, everyone, we are celebrating a birthday in the Tennessee Valley in less than 2 weeks. TVA is turning 88 years old. We began with the signing of the TVA Act on May the 18th, 1933. And ladies and gentlemen, this may sound strange today, but it was a bipartisan effort to create TVA. That's right. You heard me correctly. It was a bipartisan effort. Republican Senator George Norris of Nebraska carried the TVA Act on Capitol Hill, and Democratic President Franklin Roosevelt signed it into law. They cared deeply about this Appalachian area that was burdened by rampant poverty, catastrophic flooding, deforestation, malaria, and lack of access to electricity in rural areas. Neither one of these gentlemen were from the Tennessee Valley, but they had visited and they'd seen firsthand the struggles of this region. And they also envisioned a brighter tomorrow, which would be led by a federal agency that would usher in a new era of electrification, environmental stewardship, and economic development. Let's go to the next slide, please, Dominic. TVA is no longer funded by taxpayers. Power system appropriations ended 70 years ago in 1959. Flood control, river navigation appropriations ended in 1999. Today, TVA is entirely financed by our ratepayers, but we maintain the same basic mission: to make life better for the people of the Tennessee Valley. And we deliver our mission through our work as a provider of affordable, reliable power, and as a faithful steward of the Valley's rich natural resources, and a staunch partner for economic growth. We refer to these as the 3 E's of energy, the environment, and economic development. And every day we try to strike a balance on all 3 of these. To meet the energy demand of the Valley, TVA generates power from a diverse generation mix: coal, gas, hydro, nuclear, solar, and a pump storage facility that is a 4-turbine, 1,600 megawatt facility outside of Chattanooga, Tennessee, called Raccoon Mountain. I think if we could find a way to make electrons, my friends, from humidity, we'd probably consider that as well. But we're in partnership with 153 local power companies who deliver that power to more than 10 million people and some 700,000 businesses and industries across parts of 7 southeastern states. Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. We also sell power directly to 56 large industries and 6 federal installations, such as Kimberly-Clark, Bridgestone Tire, Nucor Steel, Redstone Arsenal in North Alabama, and the Department of Energy's Oak Ridge National Laboratory, where it is critically important to keep one of the world's fastest supercomputers functioning. So let's go to the next slide, please, Dominic. Our delivery is very different today than it was during the Great Depression. As this crowd knows, our industry is among the fastest changing, largely due to a growing interest and an explosion in the growth of renewable energy. You know, one could say that TVA actually got our start in renewable energy because thousands and thousands of people went to work building a system of dams on the Tennessee River and its tributaries and reservoirs. To this day, hydropower generates more than 10% of our energy mix. It is a great fuel source for our ratepayers. Over time, TVA evolved. We added coal-fired generation, nuclear, natural gas, solar, and wind. Today, we're very proud to say that 62% of the energy we generate comes from carbon-free sources. That is a 60% reduction over our 2005 benchmark level, and we're driving towards a 70% reduction by 2030 and an 80% reduction by 2035. And from there to net zero carbon by 2050. This morning, our TVA Board of Directors approved our second sustainability report and supplemented it with a carbon report. Both documents describe TVA's aspirational goals and the path we could take to achieve them. I would encourage all of you to go to www.tva.gov and review both documents. You know, as we all know in this industry, customers sometimes really don't care what the fuel source is or what the carbon footprint is if the lights are out. So while driving to a cleaner generation fleet, TVA is always remembering to focus our attention on our 16,000 miles of transmission lines, where we've delivered 99.999% reliability for 20 years in a row for our customers. Dominic, let's please go to the next slide. So today, TVA operates the nation's third largest fleet of nuclear reactors. We have 7 nuclear reactors, 2 plants in Tennessee and 1 in northern Alabama. Nuclear is actually over 40% of our generation. TVA will seek to extend the life of our 3 nuclear plants to 80 or even 100 years and uprate our units to more megawatts while we do it. But you know, that's not really sufficient for the cleaner future that we envision. We support a pro-business environment where companies can choose to locate or expand in our region because our energy can help them meet their own clean energy goals. We're going to need new technologies and approaches, including advanced nuclear generation. You know, TVA is very proud to own the only Nuclear Regulatory Commission certified site for advanced nuclear, potentially a small modular reactor in the not too distant future. And that is at the Clinch River site here in East Tennessee, very close to the Oak Ridge National Lab. Beyond nuclear, TVA is exploring and promoting emerging innovations that are going to be needed if we are able to get to net zero carbon. These include hydrogen-based generation, carbon capture, grid transformation, connected communities, and other efforts to replace gas, which is going to currently serve as a bridge for TVA to newer technologies. TVA is also focused on electric vehicle technology and has partnered with the state of Tennessee to build a fast charging network every 50 miles across our major interstate corridors to support electric vehicles. In Tennessee, we're fortunate because we've got GM, Nissan, and Volkswagen, and they are all committed to electric vehicle futures. So whatever effort TVA makes, it must do so while maintaining reliability and delivering on our mandate to provide power to the people of the Tennessee Valley at the lowest feasible cost. Energy justice is in our DNA. You know, many in our service territory are disadvantaged, especially in rural communities. And renewable power must not come at a cost to those who can least afford it. Price matters. Rather, we believe it ought to be largely financed by the companies, institutions, and individuals who are seeking a lower carbon footprint. So through our Green Invest program, which through an orchestrated market process matches companies who want solar with developers who can install it behind the meter. New thinking is called for now. The 10,000 men and women who keep the lights on 24/7, 365 days per year in the Tennessee Valley look forward to this exciting future. Our workforce of those 10,000 are veterans, and the veterans community is very important to TVA. 1/5 of our 10,000 are veterans. We have a strong connection to labor, working with the building, construction, and trades and the IBEW. We stand ready to support a cleaner environment, lower rates, high reliability, and we're excited and we're looking forward to partnering with the federal government to develop technology and innovations that are going to lead us to a 100% carbon-free future. So thank you all for your time this afternoon, and I am happy to answer any questions if there is time, Dominic and Sheila. Thanks for having me on the agenda.
Can you spend just a moment on about the changing relationships as a result of the evolution of generation mix and all in your work with the federal government, and how it impacts you in the government affairs, and have you had to ramp up or modify, or how has your messaging evolved to take account of the times and the pressures?
Yeah, great question, Sheila. The TVA was led for 70 years by a 3-member full-time board. And then in 2005, in the Omnibus Appropriations Act, Senator Frist led an effort to amend the TVA Act, which took us to a new corporate governance structure, which today is a 9-member part-time board that is still nominated by the President of the United States and confirmed by the U.S. Senate. So while we're celebrating our 88th birthday on May 18th, we are still about 15 years into a newly revised governance structure. And with that 9-member part-time board, we have a chief executive officer. And TVA has, I think, in the last 15 years, developed over time to get a stronger financial balance sheet. The board has made some very positive strategic decisions for the people that live in the Tennessee Valley and work here and raise their families. And, you know, we're fortunate because we've really got an energy mix that I would say is bipartisan in nature. there's a little bit of something in there for everyone, which we believe is very important during these political times that we're in today.
Well, I think you certainly have the complexity and yet the ability to grow and change in a way that will lead you forward beautifully, like a prima ballerina on the stage.
Well said, Sheila.
That's
Yes,
my
thank
story, and I'm
you.
sticking to it, Justin.
Well put.
Well, Justin, thank you so very much for your time today, and look forward to continuing the dialogue over time.
Thank you, Sheila. Y'all are doing a great job. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.